Hey, yo, what's going on, you guys? Your boy Pony Montana, and in this video, we're going to be going over run defense and everything you guys need to know about it in Madden 23. Again, just like the passing video that I made, this is going to be a in-depth video on run defense and how to utilize your user to better your run defense in Madden 23. Now, before I get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below on anything that you guys might be struggling with, or just comment FTA because it's for the algorithm and it helps push these videos to more and more people. And obviously, the more people we reach, the more we grow and the more I post. Now, run defense. In Madden 23, it is a must-have because of the amount of people that are currently running the OP abilities like the Quad Father or, things of that nature. Quad Father, King Henry just got a subscription. Shout out to McLaren film. But with abilities like that, run defense is needed. It doesn't matter what formation you're in. You need to learn how to shut down the run when it comes to Madden. So currently, we're going to come out in dollar. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is abilities. And there's a list of abilities that you guys are going to need to know. And you guys can write it down, and that is going to be starting with number one is Tackle Supreme. What Tackle Supreme does, it stops you from losing to the X Factor abilities, Freight Train, and whichever the first one Freight Train, and I believe there's one for like juke moves and stuff like that. So Tackle Supreme is literally the end all be all to all of those abilities. You will be able to sit there and get a tackle on all of those people. The next ability, Secure Tackler. Secure Tackler is going to be an ability that allows you to sit there and pretty much get your conservative tackles regardless of you trying to get a hit stick. And this is going to shut down anybody with Freight Trains, aka the Quad Father. That is a must-have right now. The next ability that you guys are going to need to try to invest in is Enforcer. People don't know this, but Enforcer is guaranteed hit stick tackles. You're guaranteed a hit stick. You're guaranteed to tackle that person if you come at them with a hit stick. So again, this negates the Freight Train. Next ability, Lumberjack. Another thing that a lot of people don't know. Lumberjack, the low hit sticks, guaranteed hits. They don't break off of the tackles if you have Lumberjack or Enforcer with those low cut hit sticks. And that's when you move your right stick to, when you go to tackle, you move your right stick down instead of up. You're going to get a hit stick, a cut stick where you literally go for the legs. And even if they have an ability active or an X Factor active, you will actually get a tackle from time to time. Obviously, nothing works perfect in Madden, so you will end up, they will end up breaking tackles from time to time. But majority of the time you will get that tackle. Now, besides those user abilities, there are a couple abilities that you guys should be using or could be using if you guys have the extra AP, and that is inside stuff or outside stuff. These two abilities are going to help you guys out if you guys are struggling with stopping a heavy runner, especially if they start off the game, after the kickoff and they're hopping into I form. You know that they're going to be running the ball, and having an ability like this is definitely going to help you out because it's going to relieve some of the pressure of you having to shoot gaps or get any type of pressure like that. So again, these abilities are a must-have. I know some teams in regs have some of these abilities equipped on some of the players. So again, these tips are interchangeable between the game modes as well. So those are going to be the first things that you guys have to take a look at are the abilities, because this is an ability-based game, and the more abilities that you have to stop the run, obviously, the easier your life is going to be. Now, obviously, you guys got to have a little bit of balance between stopping the run and stopping the pass, but majority of people are very good passers, so you don't want to leave it to chance when you're trying to stop somebody who's running the ball. Now, next thing, and we're going to go ahead and call DB fire, and we're going to go ahead and call it halfback stretch. The next thing that we're going to talk about here is pretty much making sure that the way you tackle depending on the ability. Now, when I spoke about Tackle Supreme and Secure Tackler, you're going to want to tackle these people while using simply just the X button, okay? So you're not going for the hit stick here. You're simply going for the X or A button because it's going to put you in a conservative tackle animation that the defender is not, or excuse me, the person that you're playing is not going to be able to break off of. You're going to end up getting a perfect animation to stop them in their tracks, and your life is going to be 10 times easier for it. So again, we're going to sit there, and because we're already going for the conservative tackle, you can also start to spam A or X to make sure that if you end up in a tackle battle, you end up winning that tackle battle and pretty much knocking them down. So if you're going for enforcer, you have to go for the hit stick, the upwards hit stick. So enforcer needs you to sit there and go for the upwards hit stick. So that's going to take your right stick and you're going to move it up if you guys have enforcer on. So right stick up, and granted, I'm just trying to get a hit stick here just to showcase it. And then you got lumberjack, and lumberjack is going to be the opposite. So instead of moving your right stick up for the hit stick, you're going to go and move your right stick down for the hit stick. And I'm going to try to get an animation here. As you can see, you know, we're just clogging up all the holes here. So, but we're going to low cut hit stick, and I'm going to try to get one here. Okay, we just can't get one, but we're going to move the right stick down to get a low cut hit stick. So you can even do something like this if it's a clogged up area. Okay, that was a low cut hit stick, so I can actually show the instant replay on that so you guys can see. But again, you have to tackle within your ability. So right now, if I had lumberjack on this guy or enforcer, you guys seen it light up, by the way. You know what? Let me actually clip the last 30 seconds here so I can actually go ahead and showcase that once we went for the hit, we actually lit up on the tackle. So let's let that play out real quick, because I went for the low cut hit stick, and Ray Lewis lights up. As you can see, you see how the star just sat there and lit up. That's because enforcer works for both. So you're going to be able to hit stick and get a guaranteed tackle with enforcer and lumberjack. So again, tackling depending on your ability is huge, because if you're going for hit stick tackles because you have tackle supreme or secure tackler, you're going to end up letting that person with the quad father or quadzilla, whatever his AKA name is, with freight train activated, he's going to run all over you, because it's going to be a frustrating time. So the reason why I say that tackle supreme is needed, and that's at the top of the list, is because freight train is also a thing. So I'm going to go ahead and call timeout. But no, not freight train, excuse me. First one free. And that's what Derrick Henry gets. Derrick Henry gets first one free, and then quad father gets freight train for literally 2 AP, where he breaks the tackle every single rip. So let's go ahead and actually put quad father in, since I already have him on the team, and we're going to come out in the same thing. Now, again, that's the second thing. The third thing are run fits. And again, we're in dollars, so our run fits are going to be absolutely terrible, but this is something that you guys need to know. So when it comes to run fits, people don't know this, but you can actually, if you come out of the gate and you see somebody that's heavy running, you're going to need to sit there and know what run fit you're supposed to be guarding. And the way that you do this is you hold L2, and then if you guys are on the PlayStation, you hold square, and as you can see, it shows you what run fits you should be in if they're running towards the left side. And then if you hold B or O, it shows you the right side. So as you can see, the safeties are not involved, but the cornerbacks are in this. So the way that people run dollar defense or dollar run defense, they sit there, they pinch their defense. Oh, excuse me. They base a line, they press, they pinch their defense, and now everybody is kind of in the run fit. And the reason why this works, because if they run to the left or the right, our users already going the proper way. So if you take your user and you move him all the way up to the opposite side and they run to the left, a lot of the times, if they don't get that animation up the middle of the field where these guys crash in like they have been, because obviously they're playing their gaps, you end up getting gashed on the run. So if you're running run defense out of dollar, I don't know what that was. I don't know what's going on there. But if you're running run defense out of dollar, you have to make sure that you're putting yourself in a proper position to sit there and utilize the proper run fits. So again, it's your job to guard this gap here, which is the B gap. And it's going to allow you to sit there and make sure that, you're playing your run fit properly. Actually, that's a tight end, isn't it? Yeah, that's a tight end. So that's the C gap. So right now, our job with Ray Lewis is to guard the C gap on the left side. And if we're looking at the right side, Ray Lewis is supposed to guard the B gap. So B gap on the right side, C gap on the left side. So again, it's all about knowing your run fit and knowing where you're supposed to guard and contain wherever the running back is guarding, because you have to learn how to do your job when it comes to this. So if I run the ball, my job, I didn't do my job properly. Why? Because I let that interior lineman pretty much catch up to me when he shouldn't have. So granted, that's part of the play, but the center should not be the one that's actually grabbing me. It should have been the left guard or the right guard. But for some reason, I don't know why he kind of runs around. But again, it's Dollar. So Dollar is one of those defenses where it's like it's very, very random, the run fits. And that's kind of why I hopped in it, so that I can kind of showcase how random it actually is. But again, same exact situation, running to the right, running to the left. So right now we got Ray Lewis, and his run fit is literally to blitz down. Okay, so right now we have to sit there and go there, and hopefully the rest of our defense pretty much works as intended. Now, run fits are huge, and controlling your gap, I guess that would be the way to initiate this. Controlling your gap is what is going to make your defense work 10 times better. So a lot of people come out in Dollar's terrible run defense, but for some reason, because of the defensive ends getting free pressure, it ends up being good defense. So if you guys are here for just like, hey, what's a good run defense? DB fire, base a line, call it, and this is going to be the result a lot of the times. You sit there and press your entire defense, you crash down, and then you pretty much hover, and then all of a sudden you end up getting pretty decent run stuff, and it helps you out. It's honestly a godsend. It makes stuffing runners very, very easily out of a heavy pass stuffing formation. And as you can see, we end up not getting any type of coverage there. But again, take it or leave it. It's very, very good run defense, and that's why a lot of people still utilize Dollar. The only time that Dollar really gets torched is by shotgun runs, and this is pretty much going over under center runs and pistol runs and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and call timeout, because we're going to hop into a different formation that you guys can actually stop the run in, utilizing playing your gap. So let's just hop in nickel over. Actually, you know what? Big nickel is a very, very good defense. So let's call cover 2 out of big nickel. And then again, we're going to call stretch. So again, as soon as we come out of the huddle, we're going to see where our run fits are. And this is going to be one of those situations where you're going to sit there, and right now our run fit, our Bo Jackson here is supposed to go right through the A gap. Okay, that's where his run fit is saying towards that right side. Towards that left side, it's the same thing. So again, it doesn't change for either guy. So we have to play our run fit the way that it's intended. So they run the ball, and we're gonna run right through our gap. As you can see, it's a perfect example of what happens when you do your job. If you see that hole, you see that gap break open, run right through it. As you can see, the gap broke right open for my guy to run through, and I'm able to pretty much stuff them in their tracks. And if they try to cut inside there, if they try to take their user and try to cut inside here, this is a halfback power O, so it would have taken a lot more strength to sit there and try to cut it towards the outside than cutting it towards the inside. So if they tried to cut inside, my user's right there to sit there and tackle them. But if they try to cut outside, we have a lot of bodies out there. We have a lot of bodies out there to sit there and make sure that we have a tackle. So boom, boom, this guy's starting to come down, and even my user would have been just literally following him down there. This guy here is his big fat lineman, and most of the time they don't follow all the way towards that outside. But again, even if he did cut that outside, do you see the shed that this guy gets? Why? Because everybody's playing their assignment. Everybody is doing their job. And eventually you will get that shed that's going to start frustrating your opponent. So again, playing your gap, it's huge. And what I should do is this, just to showcase that it's not just like, hey, he knows that a stretch is coming. That's not going to be the case. So we're going to go ahead to play type, and we're going to go to run. And we're just going to go with a random. I can't do a random run, can I? I don't understand why I can't do random runs, but we're gonna try to just do random runs anyways. So I don't know what I just pressed, but maybe it worked. So I don't know what we're doing. I don't know if we're doing random runs, or I don't know if it clicked on the random fullback runs. It did. So let me reset this real quick. and we're in random Y off. So we're going to go again, play type. Okay, we don't want that. Let's just do random inside handoffs, so we don't know which side they're actually running on. So again, same exact thing. You don't have to pinch your line. You don't have to pinch your linebackers. You can change your assignment, not assignment, but you can change the way that your guys play. So depending on where their assignment is based off of, like if I want to shift my line one way or the other, depending on how many people that the opponent has on their strong side, then that's perfectly fine. As long as I continue to play my gap, then I'm perfectly fine. Like right here, I'm fast enough to sit there and sit right here and play my gap on both sides and potentially run right through the gap here because of where I'm at. So if they run the ball, no matter where they're running to, I'm going to be able to sit there and try to run through the gap and play my gap. Now, granted, we ended up whiffing a tackle there, and that's perfectly fine because we're rocking with two controllers. So, but again, it's something that a lot of people fail to do. They fail to play their gap, and it's something that is very, very important when it comes to Madden. So again, we're going to play our gap, and we're there to sit there and make a tackle on the quad father. So again, it's very, very difficult for your opponent to get any type of leeway on your offense if you know your gap. If you know your gap assignment, as you can see, I'm sitting there blitzing through the A gap because that's where my assignment is supposed to be, right through that right side A gap. Make your life 10 times easier by doing this. Stop hopping in dollar and then complaining about run defense not working. Dollar is just not run defense, and we're gonna learn that very, very easily. Now, in a situation like this, and this is a perfect example right here. Right now, if they ran stretch, I am cooked. I'm torched. Why? Because I look at the run fits, and if they run stretch towards that left, I'm gonna pray for a shed. Why? Because right now, this linebacker here is the last line of defense. And that's going to make it so that if they do run towards that side, I have to go all the way towards that left side to potentially block one of those big fat linemen. And most of the time, more often times than not, you're going to end up giving that up. And that's one of the reasons why the best thing to do isn't always to just come out and pinch your entire line and pinch your entire defense and press everybody, because sometimes it ruins the run fit that you're currently in, and it makes your life a lot harder. So again, I'm running through my gap, and we end up tackling from behind. But again, it's just something that we need to learn how to do, is play our run fits and play our gaps. Now, the last thing that I'd like to talk about are bad formations when it comes to run defense. So we're not even going to go through here, but we're just going to simply go through formations that are not good run defense. Number one, 3 down lineman sets. And I'm not talking about your regular 3-4, with 4 different linebackers. I'm talking about anything like dollar, anything like big dime 146 or whatever the case may be with that. 3-3-5 is not the best run defense. You have 3 linemen and 3 linebackers. You have too many DBs on the field with your D line spread to the point where it's not gonna double as great run defense. Can you get good run defense out of it? Of course, you can get good run defense out of anything, but in this game, if you want to be consistent with stopping the run, you have to get out of formations like this, because you're going to end up facing a runner or a option goon who is going to sit there and make your life a living hell, simply because he's going to sit there and he's just going to frustrate your life away, and you're going to be mad, and you're going to sit there and complain about the game being terrible because this guy's running on me now, when that's not the case. You are simply doing it to yourself, and you're not playing your game the way you should, and you're not covering your gaps the way you should. So essentially, it's going to make your life a lot harder to do. Now, the last thing is the loop. Now, what I mean by the loop, and it's very, very hard to showcase proper run defense that's not just the CPU, but the loop, if you look at your assignment, right? I'm supposed to be guarding the B gap here, right? So if you look at your assignment and you're trying to run your assignment properly, I'm supposed to go through the B gap, right? Either side, except for if they're running straight far to the outside. Whether they're running to the right or left, I'm supposed to guard the B gap, right? I'm supposed to take my user and go towards that right side. So what I mean by the loop is you're going to take your user and you're going to try your best to force this animation here where this guy comes in through, right? And then your user is going to come behind him and cover your gap. And what you're hoping on doing is you're hoping on pretty much getting a free, you know, a free lane right through the gap. Now it's going to be a little bit difficult, but, and as you can see that time, I ended up getting caught up, but the defense still worked. The run defense still worked simply because, well, first off, that was my gap that I went to try to run through. So because I still went and try to get through my gap, I'm perfectly fine. And I trusted my defense to do their job. Ray Lewis goes ahead, gets a stop. He's there for a tackle. So the running back gets a gain of almost nothing. So again, same exact situation. Let's run it one more time. Again, I'm supposed to go chase that outside. So I'm going to try to go for the loop here again. And again, I wasn't able to do it, but you see how everything is clogged up there? It's because I'm playing my gap and allowing the rest of my defense to pretty much go crazy. Now the quad father's activated. It's a perfect time for this to not work. So again, right now we got this guy not looping in, but he's going to guard his gap, and I'm going to guard mine by trying to loop through. Now, because I have to guard both of them, not both, but I have to guard that far outside, I'm going to be a little bit closer, and then I'm going to come down and I'm going to try to loop. And again, because we were there and everybody's there to block their guy, and we're there to plug up any hole, our gaps are covered, and we're sitting there trying to loop. Again, this is not a formation where you loop out of. You would rather loop out of a 4-down lineman set, but if I could have gotten one out of this, I would have been extremely happy, honestly. So I'm not mad about it, but I would have liked to have gotten a nice little loop out of this. So let's try this one more time, and then I'll get out of your hair because the quad father's still activated and we still couldn't get a loop. That terrible run defense. I try to press so that the D line gets a little compressed so that I can actually loop through, but I wasn't able to do it, which is perfectly fine. But let's try one last thing without calling timeout, and that's shifting our line. And then we're going to go ahead and make sure that we're looping through our actual gap here, and we're able to loop through. That's a perfect loop through, by the way. I'm actually going to showcase that so you guys can see. And even if you loop in a little bit, it's going to change the direction in which the running back goes. So as you can see, look at where we loop through. And we were able to do it and the only reason that this worked is because I kind of turned 3-3-5 normal into a 4-down lineman set with Ray Lewis on the outside here, which kind of forced that O-line to kind of help there. So as you can see, we looped right through, and if they ran towards our side, we would have got a tackle for a loss. But because we covered our gap, it gets clogged up on their side, and then our guys are there to pretty much make that tackle. Easy peasy. That's pretty much run defense. So let's do that one more time, and then I'm gonna get out of your hair so you guys don't think, man, that's a little fluky. So look, play your gaps, boys. Play your gaps. I have literally 0 run stuffing abilities. I have Enforcer on Mean Joe Green, I got El Toro on Donald, and I've got something else on Bruce Smith. But that was a perfect example of playing our gap and allowing our defense to pretty much do what they're supposed to. So as you can see, Mean Joe Green gets a beautiful release through his gap, which allows us to sit there and go crazy on the actual run defense. This is run defense. This is everything that you need to know when it comes to the basics of run defense. Now, obviously, there are certain formations and certain forms that will play the run a little bit better, and we can go over some of those as well. I know there's a bunch of videos on YouTube already for those kinds of videos, but for those of you guys who might be struggling with your run defense, these are crucial tips that will help you. I know you guys appreciated the passing defense one, so obviously not passing defense, but the passing in general. I know you guys appreciated that one, so hopefully this one falls right into that lane as well. My name is Pony Montana. I'll see you guys in the next video, man. As always, 2 fingers, deuces. And if you guys are struggling with anything, make sure you guys are leaving it down in the comment section. So let me run that back. If you guys are struggling with anything, I don't care what it is, leave it down in the comment section. All right. My name is Pony Montana. Appreciate the support, you guys. I will see y'all in the next video, man. As always, 2 fingers, deuces, and peace out, you guys.